This video details the building of the Peterbilt 359, a 125 scale model by Revell. This awesome Level 5 kit has 302 parts, with features like turning front wheels, opening doors and hood, and a lift-off sleeper roof. The back of the box shows close-up photos of the finished model and provides color views of the different paint colors required for the build. The assembly manual is quite extensive. It is 24 pages long and includes 105 separate steps that are intricately portrayed in the drawings. The first major step is to build the frame, as illustrated here in the manual. I prefer to glue clean plastic to clean plastic, so I create subassemblies that can be painted as a whole. This basic frame assembly covers steps 1 to 8. The air tanks will be installed after painting. Here is the top view of the assembled frame. I will carefully inspect the finished frame for any flashing or imperfections before moving on to painting. To temporarily hold the air tanks for painting, I glued a piece of scrap plastic to the bottom of each tank. They will be easily removed after painting. Notice the use of clips on the stick to hold them. Next, I started the engine subassembly. I will gather all the basic engine components that will be the same color for the first round of painting. You can achieve different sheens of black, flat, matte, or gloss by using different clear coats. I also use floor polish for a fast-drying, glossy finish. The frame has been painted and the air tanks have been installed. The parts are dry and ready for the next steps of construction. This is the engine subassembly, and all the parts that will be painted Cummins beige. I'm focusing on assembling parts of the same color first. Here are the engine and its parts ready for paint. I will be using Duplicolor Cummins beige, as authenticity matters, so I research what the real trucks look like. Next is the front end subassembly. Since the wheels are designed to turn, I took great care in connecting the tie rods to the spindle by applying a small dab of glue on the cap. The painted parts are out of the paint room and have dried. I am now resuming construction with the painted components. I used contrasting colors to make certain details pop, like the yellow shock absorbers mounted on the black chassis. This adds visual interest and realism. The rear suspension system is now complete. We have installed the rear ends, shocks, anti-sway bars, and the rear drive shaft. Now, it's time to install the front axle and shock absorbers. The front end is on the chassis, and we are preparing the wheels and tires. I like to prepare the wheels before final assembly to make sure everything fits well. To ensure a good bond, I scrape the chrome plating off where parts will be glued. This allows the adhesive to connect the plastic pieces directly. I use a 60 grit sanding block on all the tires to give them a realistic worn look, simulating road use on the treads. For removing chrome or paint from flat surfaces, I prefer using a 220 grit sanding block, as seen here with the wheel parts. Here is an example of sanding the chrome off the backs of the wheels, which prepares them for gluing to the axles. Next, we move on to building the radiator assembly. I use a chrome pen or black marker for touching up spew connection points on painted or chromed parts. The front end shocks are out of the paint room and have dried. They are now ready to be installed onto the frame. The shocks are installed, and the contrasting yellow color really makes them stand out against the black frame. Little details can make a big difference. Always test fit your parts before applying glue. Here, I am test fitting the completed radiator assembly into the chassis. The engine block and its components are fresh out of the paint room. I used the correct Duplicolor engine paint for Cummins diesel engines, following the assembly manual. The next step is building and installing the turbos. The instructions weren't clear, so I used trial and error to figure out the correct placement of the parts. I use a pencil to stretch the diameter of the hoses for easier installation, then attach them with a small amount of superglue. These appear to be the heater hoses connecting to the firewall. The engine turbo installation is finally finished. This was the most challenging model engine I have built so far, but everything fit, which is a bonus. Here is the pulley assembly with the belts detailed with flat black paint. Using a toothpick dipped in paint helps with painting these fine details. The completed engine and radiator are ready for installation into the chassis. Adding the hoses gives it a more realistic appearance. I am test fitting the completed radiator assembly into the engine and chassis. Remember, always test fit your parts to ensure proper alignment before gluing. Here is the completed drivetrain with the axles now installed onto the frame. It's really coming together. A top view of the engine and chassis assembly. You can appreciate how the different colors and details enhance the model. Here is another view of the progress so far. This kit has 305 pieces, making it the largest and most challenging one I've attempted, but following the directions step by step makes it manageable. Next, I'm preparing to build the battery boxes. These parts are all chrome and serve as steps in real life. Each side only requires 4 parts to complete. One completed battery box is ready. Now to build the second one for the other side of the chassis. To ensure a strong bond, I prep the frame for the battery box installation by scraping off the paint on the mating surfaces with a hobby knife. Similarly, I prep the step part of the battery box by scratching off the chrome where it will be glued. Removing both the paint and chrome ensures a solid bond. The battery boxes are now successfully installed. The addition of chrome really enhances the look of the chassis, and this is just a sample of the chrome to come. For air tank detailing, I use a chrome or silver pen to highlight the bands on the tanks, as seen here with my liquid chrome pen. The air tanks are now installed. Highlighting the mounting strap with chrome adds more realism. We have now completed step 45 of the construction. I'm starting the interior build, focusing on the seats, seat bases, and steering wheel subassemblies. I am identifying and gathering all the interior parts for painting and detailing. The interior parts are out of the paint room. I decided to paint the seats and all upholstery a natural shade of tanned leather for a realistic look. This now concludes part 1 of the build. There is more to come, so tune in again to Wheeler's Garage for helpful hints and insights for building your own masterpieces.